and master uncle, but everyone actually knows. The one who used to manage Teiwei sect. It's just a light breeze. After Feng Shao left, they don't even know what to do anymore. Rather than letting them drift aimlessly, continue to do nothing in the Teiwei sect, it's better to let them go. Perhaps there will be a wider world waiting for them, the collective term for two disciples. Throughout the entire Teiwei sect, it triggered a tremendous earthquake. Zhangmen and outer disciples, this has sparked much debate. Restless and uneasy, many people are even speculating. Is it true that the Wei family is breaking up? However, this matter, everyone can only discuss it privately, although there are disciples. I want to emulate the two disciples. But considering the attitude of their own master, this idea still held it back. As for the outer sect disciples, due to the vast majority, it was not Feng Shao who recruited him into the sect. I usually don't have much contact with the wind. Therefore, I don't have much thought about this. Just a faint feeling. Teiwei sect seems to be on the verge of a change. Du Yuanxi of the three little ones and his disciples, they remained silent about it. Neither does it express support. It doesn't mean opposition either, clearly acting as if it has nothing to do with me. As for what they truly think in their hearts, only they know. And Lin Suzi, upon learning of this matter, is in a furious rage. He went directly to King Yangzi, said in exasperation, "Behind this matter, it must be the instigation of Qin Zhao. If it weren't for Qin Zhao's orders, why are there so many people at the same time leaving the sect? They are still the disciples of the two." King Yangzi shot him a cold glance. "You don't need to say that. Qin Zhao's attitude, it has already been indicated. This matter, it was incited by him. But King Yangzi just couldn't figure it out. Those people are all disciples of Qin Zhao. Just let it go like that. You, as the master, what were you really thinking?" But he couldn't say it outright. After all, this is the root of the matter. It's still the conflict between King Yangzi and Qin Zhao. If I had said it outright, it is inevitable to be in an already unstable situation. The sect's situation is only getting worse. Therefore, facing Lin Suzi, King Yangzi simply said, "Since they want to leave the sect, then just let them be. Anyway, there are so many disciples in the sect. Many of these people," Lin Suzi angrily said, "You, the sect leader, how did it happen? Sect disciple, how can you just leave without a word? They established the Teiwei sect. Where have you turned this place into? They come whenever they want. If you want to go, then go." King Yangzi couldn't help but give him a disdainful glance. "How can you even say that? Why don't you think about it? How long have you been away from the sect? It's not that easy to come back whenever you want. If it weren't for the fact that you still have some use, who cares about you?" Lin Suzi noticed King Yangzi was silent, even angrier. "Aren't you hurrying up? Bring those disciples back. If we let them be." And just like that they left. "What if the other disciples follow suit?" King Yangzi said impatiently. "Since they want to leave the sect, that proves their hearts. No longer in the sect. Even if I get it back, what's the point? When you first left the sect, I often think about coming back." Lin Suzi was suddenly left speechless. Afterwards, the two parted ways without spending anything. After Lin Suzi left, King Yangzi felt restless and uneasy. "So I decided to make a trip to the alchemy pavilion. Throughout the upper domain, the strength of any sect, all aspects need to be considered comprehensively. The first one listed, it is the sect's cultivation method. After all, the sect's techniques. determined the upper limit of the monk's cultivation, a technique that one possesses. You can only cultivate up to the sect of the golden elixir realm. Its appeal, surely it cannot compare to having only sects that can cultivate to the taking Jing method. Under the martial arts techniques, the most important thing, it is the abilities of alchemy and forging. The former Teiwei sect, don't mention alchemy and forging, can gather materials for alchemy and forging. It's an extremely difficult task. Feng Xiao felt deeply about this. After taking control of the sect, often travels near Teiwei sect, specially searching, a scattered cultivator with alchemy and forging abilities. Later, I don't know either. What method did Feng Xiao use? He actually managed to trick two people into coming. And these two people, it is Elder Zhu Yu of the Alchemy Pavilion, Elder Song Lion of the Foundry, Teiwei sect. Also, because of the addition of these two people, the strength has suddenly increased significantly. Therefore, King Yangzi felt the urgency of the moment. We must first stabilize Zhu Yu and Song Lion. Don't let these two people also left the sect. Otherwise, King Yangzi wouldn't know. Where can we get two more from? A wandering practitioner skilled in alchemy and forging. As soon as I entered the alchemy pavilion, King Yangzi then saw Zhu Yu and Song Lion sitting upright in front of a small table. King Yangzi walked in. He said to the two with a smile, "The two elders of Song are truly. What a kind heart." Saying this, he also sat down at the table. It's just on the table. There are no spare cups. So King Yangzi had no choice but to just watch the two of them facing each other. But I can't join in. King Yangzi was deep in thought. How to build a closer relationship with the two elders? Yet Zhu Yu said in a strange tone, "Isn't this King Yangzi the sect leader? What wind is it? You blew over here." Zhu Yu's tone was very impolite, but King Yangzi didn't dare to fall out with Zhu Yu. He could only let out a dry laugh. Speaking of the two, "But I am the pillar of my micro-tribe. I should indeed come to visit the two of you." Zhu Yu asked with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. "Just the two of us. It can be considered the backbone of the Teiwei sect." Is the sect leader joking? King Yangzi quickly stated that this is indeed the case. How could I dare to speak carelessly? Since the arrival of the two, my Teiwei sect's strength is overwhelming. This is all thanks to the elixirs you both have concocted, and the artifacts of casting. Song Lion said softly, "The sect leader is in serious trouble. These are just us. Just agreed to what Feng Xiao wanted. Not worth mentioning." King Yangzi's mouth corners couldn't help but twitch a bit. "Zhu Yu may have a harsh way of speaking, but at least I know my limits. This Song Lion is reticent and speaks little. However, it started off. Just mention that. The name that King Yangzi is reluctant to mention." This made King Yangzi's heart feel somewhat annoyed. But he also cannot let this matter. Just like turning against Song Lion, could only manage a forced smile. Finding the right topic is hard. After obtaining the 6 Yang spiritual fire, 2 elders refining alchemy and forging. Everything should be more effortless now, right? Once the words are spoken. Chip, Elder Song and Elder Lian. Bayan looked oddly. Looked towards King Yangzi. King Yangzi Yizhen. This is when I realized I was. It seems I said the wrong thing. Instantly I wished I could. Self-inflicted 2 slaps. You said you. What's wrong to say? Why bring up the 6 Yang spirit fire? Zhu Yu let out a light laugh. Said softly, "With the 6 Yang spirit fire, when I was refining elixirs. It's like a tiger with wings. This still needs to be done. Thanks to young Master Feng, not far from thousands of miles. Bring forth the 6 yang spiritual fire. Feng Shao originally planned to, bringing back the words of Bai Fang. It's a pity. Stolen by someone. Oh, that's right. The one who took away Bifeng's words. Still the sect leader. Recently discovered an interest in. What about the 3 disciples? Du Yu said this. Each word pierces the heart. Hearing this, King Yangzi felt in his heart, not quite understanding the flavor. He was furious. I wish I could grab hold of you. The color of the other party. Knew who? What do you know? Do you know? As the leader, bearing so much pressure. Do you know? Once upon a day with Feng Shao, my leader is like a mere decoration. Just this word, what I want to say but cannot. Led King Yangzi, almost sick from holding it in. Song Lion took a sip of wine. Said the sect leader softly, my brother in this lifetime. Everyone is dealing with Lion Dan. Not very good at talking to people. Please don't take offense. King Yangzi could only say, Elder Song is serious. Next, the 3 of them fell into it again. In the eerie silence, Ju Yu and Song Lion, drinking wine, I myself. I don't know how to entertain King Yangzi. Let King Yangzi. I feel like I'm unnecessary. He wanted to find a topic to talk about. It's good to get closer to the 2 people. Only after searching for a long time, but found myself with the 2 of them. There is truly no common language at all. This made him feel extremely depressed. After a long time, he could only clasp his hands to the 2. I have other matters to attend to. Just not here. Sorry to disturb you both. Finally, smiling, King Yangzi nodded slightly. Then, please, master, go ahead. Finished speaking. Then continue to practice with Song Lion. There was no sign of getting up to see the guests off. King Yangzi felt gloomy, had no choice but to leave in embarrassment, just as I was leaving. But in his heart he became even more resolute. Your own thoughts. Indeed, Feng Shao cannot stay for long. If not for the gentle breeze, I, the esteemed leader of the Teiwei sect. How could this happen in front of 2 sect elders? This way it's hard to back down. If Feng Shao continues to stay at Teiwei sect, still unaware of one's own status, it will become very awkward. 44th. Ganghen Lanshan, Teiwei Mountain, Wu Jianping. A graceful figure in white clothing, beneath the bright moonlight, wielding the sword in a dance. Flying recklessly, he advanced step by step, Shen Qingxian, between the retreats, but is as swift as lightning. The display of spiritual power is revealed in every move. However, the posture is remarkably beautiful. Like a butterfly, bite like smoke and dust, April elves, like a fairy in a painting. At the rise of the moon, it felt as though it was about to soar into the sky, straight towards the crescent moon at the horizon. Before long, a set of swordsmanship techniques. That figure is about to swing the sword again. But a clear, cold voice said, Chennai, your heart is in chaos. That graceful figure, sheath the sword and enter the realm. Like a talking humanoid, Master Jai of the ritual path. These 2 people, it is indeed the 3 disciples under the door, Han Bian and Lu Qingyuan. Han Bian looked at the calm-faced Lu Qingyuan, sighed. Speaking of the junior sister, the matter of the 2, you must have heard about it too. Lu Qingyuan silently nodded. Do you have anything to say? Lu Qingyuan fell silent for half a moment. He shook his head. Han Bian smiled and said, Junior sister, the sect received a message. You have a cool demeanor. The giant is 1,000 miles away. Little do you know your thoughts. Actually, it's the easiest to guess. If I'm not mistaken, you actually want to be with both of them. Let's go down the mountain to find senior brother Feng. Although Feng Shao has already left the sect, but when Han Bian mentioned him, still it will become a habit. Call him Master Feng. Lu Qingyuan's face flushed with a hint of red, but they stubbornly said, the junior sister didn't have this thought. Han Bian watched Lu Qingyuan for a while, staring directly at Lu Qingyuan. I couldn't help but turn my head. He let out a sigh. Speaking of my junior sister, oh my junior sister, in front of the senior sister. Why do you have to be so stubborn? I know you recently. Because of Yi Chen's matter. There was a misunderstanding with the trendsetter's senior brother. But Brother Feng brings light and clarity. Since I can protect you, attaining the realm of the golden elixir, naturally, they no longer hold those misunderstandings in their hearts. Ever since I learned, the person who snatched the words of the evasive that day, after Yi Chen, Han Bian no longer regarded it. Treat him as your own junior apprentice. In his view, Yi Chen can take action against him. Then it proves, in Yi Chen's heart, she didn't see herself as a senior sister at all. In that case, then why should he keep her in his heart again? So, when addressing him, he called out his name directly. Lu Qingyuan Wenyuan. After twisting the whistle, Kai whispered, senior sister. I think we really feel guilty towards Master Feng. Han Bian smiled. When you say that, I simply don't understand Wen Shixing at all. Senior brother Feng is this person. The grudges and debts are always clear-cut. It won't be because of Yi Chen's matter. So they vented their anger on the three. It won't be because of this. They just don't acknowledge us junior apprentices. Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but ask, senior sister, Brother Feng, haven't you already left the sect? Since that's the case, how could it be? Are you saying, Feng Shixin, since we have left the sect, they will no longer recognize us, the junior disciples? Is that so? Then I can only say, you are wrong. And Bian gazed at the bright moon on the horizon. Calm tone. I have been climbing the mountain for 28 years. Meet senior brother Feng. It has also been 28 years. In these 28 years, I have also seen Feng Shixing get angry, but never once. It is because of dissatisfaction with the junior disciples that I am angry. He has always regarded us as his younger siblings. He has always embraced us with his broad heart. So, no matter how he feels, still for us, this bond, it cannot be severed. At this point, Han Bian took a deep breath. Kai, speaking of, 2 disciples, already headed to Liang City. If you go there now, we can still catch up to them. Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but feel a sense of respect for his senior sister. Han Bian smiled. I am the eldest disciple under my master, so I won't go with you all. As for you, I will report to master. Just say you have just entered the golden elixir realm. I need to descend the mountain and travel, broaden horizons, seeking opportunities for further improvement. In this way, the master over there also said it's fine. Lu Qingyuan's expression was hesitant. I couldn't help but ask. But senior sister, a while ago, once sheltered Yi Chen. I'd angered senior brother Feng. And brother Feng, leaving the sect, there is also a reason for the night and morning. I truly have no face to meet with Feng Shixin. Then go apologize to Wen Shixin. Apologize in front of senior brother Feng. If you refuse to agree, take this step. So, your path of cultivation is daunting. Let's stop here, Han Bian said seriously. So, even if it's for yourself. You must also go find him." Lu Qingyuan pondered for half a moment. Mo Dai gritted his teeth. "What senior sister said is right. If this emotional knot cannot be unraveled, I can't continue my training any more." She looked up at Han Bian. "A slight bow. Speaking of that junior sister, she went over there." Han Bian nodded. "Be careful on the road. If I meet Win Shixing, please send my regards to brother Feng." "Yes." Lu Qingyuan no longer hesitated. "Draw the long sword." Meeting that flew away, Han Bian stood in place, watching Lu Qingyuan's figure gradually fade away. Her expression appeared somewhat melancholic. After a while, she let out a self-deprecating laugh. "Could it be that she has already left? What else are you thinking about? Speak." She turned and left. Just, poor silhouette, there is quite a sense of solitude, just like today's Tei Wei Shen. After nearly a month of encountering flights, Feng Xiao finally saw a piece from afar, the immensely majestic insect mountain peaks, Engon Mountain, at the boundary between Zhangju and Dongju, Zanyu and Nanbei, stretching over 6,000 miles. It is a famous mountain in the upper region. Smoke filled the air above, like a fairyland, however, within it. But the monsters are rampant. Every step is fraught with thorns. The master walked in. Every one risks being devoured by. As for mortals, this place is even more forbidden. Rumors of Hinglong Mountain, it transformed after the fall of an ancient giant dragon. Rumors often contain many inaccuracies. No one knows what is true or false. After all, the true dragon, it has been many years, never manifested in the world. No one knows. In this world, are there still true dragons? Moreover, where can a dragon grow this big? So regarding this kind of rumor, most people scoff at it. However, although the rumors about Hinglong Mountain are false, the danger is real and tangible. But the greatest danger among them, but not from a monster, but comes from a hidden forbidden place within. 3 Lives Pagoda, Tower of 3 Lives. An old tale is passed down, the divine relics left by the immortal realm in the upper domain, in charge of the world's causes and effects, and yet unaware, and reincarnation. There were many people longing for the Sansheng Tower, in search of its origin. There are also quite a few people. I really found the location of the Sansheng Tower, but almost everyone who enters the Sansheng Tower unable to come out yet. The only recorded account, the one who retreats unscathed. It was thousands of years ago, the great sect of heart and mind cultivation, one of the 3 great princesses of Kaienkan Palace. Princess Zi. The princess of Zi wasn't actually named Zi, but the original name is no longer traceable. The legend of Princess Zi. It is precisely in the Tower of 3 Lives. Finding the ultimate opportunity, this is how the Kaienkan Palace was established. Some people also say Kaienkan Palace, the fundamental reason for the fleeting appearance of the Kaienkan Palace flower. It also lies in Princess Zi entered the Tower of 3 Lives, angered the celestial beings. This is the divine law being enacted. Some people say Princess Zi is not of this world, but rather a person from the upper realm. Through the Tower of 3 Lives, captured a wandering cultivator who stumbled in. This is how I was reincarnated into this world. And the Kaienkan Palace, it was actually this powerful being from the upper realm, agent of this realm. As for the Kaienkan Palace, where did they go later? No one knows about this. However, regarding these rumors, Feng Xiao didn't care much. His true purpose for coming here, it's about reshaping oneself, self-awareness. The purpose of self-awareness. Self-aware, reshaping self-awareness. Such things, to the average listener, it's simply like a tale from the Arabian Nights. Self-awareness is such a thing, just like the same gender, destined from the moment of birth. No one has ever heard of it. Self-awareness can be reshaped. So, the cultivation world has always had cycles of reincarnation. The theory of destiny and fate refers to, when you were born, your limit of cultivation. It has already been destined. Originally, Feng Xiao also thought that it is impossible to reshape self-awareness until he obtains the Kaienkan Sutra, cultivated to the innate realm. After activating the subsequent chapters, only then did I realize there are indeed such things in this world. The way against heaven, but reshaping self-awareness. It must take place in the realm of innate potential. Neither can it be done early nor postponed. Not only that, reconstructing self-awareness, we still need to rely on Sansheng Tana, the great power of communicating between past and present lives, can be realized. In other words, the so-called reshaping of self-awareness, it's actually about the previous life. Self-awareness I once had, incorporated into the bloodline of this life, the cycle of reincarnation countless times. There are always a few times. Luck will be better to gain an extraordinary self-awareness. Only possessing against the odds self-awareness, but it doesn't mean able to achieve a successful outcome. The vast majority of talent, Ju Deng, Chai-ren, in fact, for the rest of one's life, all buried among ordinary people, until the day I die, has not yet embarked on the path of cultivation. Moreover, if one can truly achieve the intended result, unless reborn into the cycle, otherwise there wouldn't be another life. Live as long as heaven and earth, not entering the cycle of rebirth, either the ice melts or the path disappears, turned to ashes. It is precisely for this reason. So, communication across lifetimes, and the qualifications that come with it, almost all have never been activated. Feng Xiao has come this time. Actually, in my heart, there is also a bit of apprehension. He is not because the mystery of the three-life tower, and felt uneasy, but rather recalls your true identity. He came from another time, not a person of this world. Then he can still be there. Does the Sansheng Tower communicate with past lives? Even if it is truly possible to communicate with past lives, then where is his past life? In the world where life originally existed. Still in this world. Even so, he also wants to take a gamble on this. He vaguely felt, can do it myself, transcending to this world. Root cause, perhaps it is hidden in this tower of three lives, even if it's just to find out the mystery within oneself. He must also make this trip. After flying over Hinglong Mountain, he activated it. The chrysalis of heaven within the body, a faint layer of a blue light enveloped his eyes, and he then saw a purple cylindrical object, standing far between heaven and earth, through heaven and earth, straight into the clouds. The corner of the wind whistle's mouth unavoidably brings a smile. There, it's the Three Lives Tower. Chapter 45, The Maze. At Purple Pillar, it seems very close, actually very far, although the wind whistles. It can be seen from a distance, but fly over still took most of the day. In a distant place, at the time of gazing, not much yet. After getting closer, Feng Shiakai finally saw clearly the majesty of the purple spire. Only the device column was seen, straight into the dense forest. Like a clear day gathering people, Al Daheyahan, Can't see the top at a glance. Feng Shao even guessed in his heart. The other end of the pillar. Have we reached the upper realm? But in the pupils of the eyes, after the faint blue light faded away, the sky remains calm and breezy. I can't feel anything at all. A slight difference. The wind whistles as it descends. Before long, returned to the ground, although he could see the pillar. But it cannot pass through the pillar, directly enter the Sansheng Tower from the sky. To enter the Sansheng Tower, the only path lies on the ground, where the wind whistle lands. All I can see is the mist drifting away, faintly in the distance. Able to see several half-meter thick pillars. Apart from that, you can't see much anymore. Feng Shao squinted slightly, then stepped inside. Not long after, the wind whistle just arrived. In front of the first pillar, he did not continue walking forward, but first looked all round. I looked around. Very soon, beside the three nearby pillars, a stick in the forefront, a stick in the defense, a stick in the swift guard. As for the more distant pillars, he couldn't see it anymore. Feng Shao carefully recalled the path mentioned in the Kaienkan treasure book. Walked towards the swift column on the right front. After walking several dozen meters, Feng Shao arrived at the pillar of Zunwei. At this moment around him, 6 pillars indeed appear. Moreover, the directions are more complicated. The first step is Zunwei. Step 2 not yet entered. The third step is Teiyu. The fourth step is hopeless. The wind whistled softly. Whenever I walk past a pillar, immediately follow the instructions of the Kaienkan book. Turn to the next step. This process must not be taken lightly. As long as you take one wrong step, you will be completely lost in it. Unless luck is good enough, find the right path again. Otherwise, you will be trapped here for a lifetime. However, being in the midst of it, the surrounding mist is thick and hazy. What can be seen is only a few dozen meters. The distance between each pillar. It just happens to be this length. In other words, the wind whistle can only see pillars of the previous and next steps. If one accidentally takes a wrong turn, even if it ends up working out unexpectedly later, find the correct pillar. But who can be sure this step is correct? And this is also true for all those who accidentally enter. The fundamental reason why one can never escape. Through the Kaienkan treasure book, the wind whistle learned. Around the 3 Lives Pagoda, there is 1,000 yuan pillar, a total of 108. To walk in, however, you need to. You need to pass through 36 of them. These 36 pillars, not a single step can be wrong. Otherwise, you will fall into a maze. Here, perception of direction is useless. The space seems to be filled with some kind of. The extraordinary power distorts the ordinary. You think you are moving forward. It's very possible that you're actually moving backward. Only by walking on the right path. Walk in a specific way to enter the Tower of 3 Lives. All the way here, the wind whistle can be seen from time to time. The stark white bones lying on the ground. These white bones, the vast majority are human. Occasionally, the bones of wild beasts can be found. These white bones, it is just a mistake of wandering into a maze. Can't come out anymore. Ultimately, die immediately. But this is just a small part of it. More bones, still quietly lying in other places within the maze. It may never exist again. The possibility of seeing the light of day again. Whenever I encounter the white bones lying on the road, the wind whistle will crouch down, carefully searching around. Those who can come here, the vast majority, they are all quite capable cultivators. Otherwise, there's no way to find the location of the Sansheng Tower. although they had bad luck, could not find the right path. But the inherent strength, but it's genuine. The wind whistle can meet them. It can be considered a series of opportunities. An opportunity lies before us. Only a fool would turn a blind eye. Therefore, all the way here, the wind whistle scavenged countless predecessors and masters. The left behind storage bag, or storage ring, made a fortune. Feng Shao even felt, even if qualifications cannot be reshaped, relying solely on these collected treasures and artifacts, this second half of my life, you don't have to worry anymore. But at the same time of scavenging, in the wind's whistle, Xinlai refers to deep emotions or feelings. I can't help but feel that these people are being bullied. Many of them, it should have been a more brilliant and magnificent future, but it went awry. Entering the Three Lives Tower, died silently and quietly. But fortune seeks danger. They arrived here. It is also in search of opportunities. Died here. It is also their own choice. No wonder others. And knowingly, the wind whistle has already reached the 33rd step. However, in front of the 33rd pillar, he then saw two skeletons lying on the ground, hand in hand. Next to them, a golden and a silver long sword were inserted. Feng Shao. Feng Shao looked at the long sword. Couldn't help but open my eyes wide. His eyes were filled with horror. Could these two swords be? It is said that the long-lost golden crow sword and the silver cicada sword, thousands of years ago. Once there was a place in the upper domain, a family skilled in casting. This family is surnamed Lin. The place where they live is called Lingxiao Mountain Villa. Lingxiao Mountain Villa. Yushan Ju Jian, the most famous divine sword. There are a total of 8, collectively known as the 8 swords of Lingxiao. The 8 swords of Lingxiao: the Jimwu sword, silver cicada sword, Bai Yuojin, Huanquan sword, Sai Ming sword, Qingyan sword, Bai Hongjian, Chai Zia sword, the 8 swords, also divided into the upper 4 swords. He and the 4 swords. The 4 swords still exist today. The 4 swords above, but it stops at Bilu and Huanquan. The control of the Bai Yuojin, Saio Yao Fairy Saio Yuo Yao in hand, and the Huanquan sword, Sai Yun Jian Ji Jiju, Lin Fengshen's hand. As for the Jin Wu sword, he and the silver cicada sword has long since vanished. There are rumors. In the past, Lingxiao Mountain Manor, a peerless sword cultivator has emerged. Thus, I was able to control the Jinwu sword. Later, the sword cultivator did not know. Why did I fall out with my family? Not only did Fenner run away from home, he also took away the silver cicada sword. Bad Sid. 2 swords, together with that sword cultivator. Everyone has disappeared without a trace. Feng Shao had never seen Jin Wu sword and Yin Chan sword, but also knows the legendary reputation of these 2 swords. And its characteristics are quite distinct. A golden light shone brightly, and accompanied by the words of the golden crow, a silver glow of significance, and carries the chill of the moon. Therefore, Feng Shao only glanced once. He recognized the 2 swords. Seeing the 2 skeletons on the ground again, a tall figure, a petite figure. Clearly, there are 2 people, a man and a woman. So the rumors say. That unparalleled sword cultivator. What is the reason? And had a falling out with the family. At this moment, it seems there is already an answer. Feng Shao looked at the 2 skeletons. Can't help but sigh and ask the world, what is love? Life and death are pledged to each other. I never expected such a remarkable talent. We'll also be with a loved one. Together we perish here." After a moment of reflection, Feng Shao spoke without reservation, took away the Jinwu sword and the Yinshin sword. "Anyway, Ling Zio villa has long fallen into decline. These two swords, it has also become a thing without an owner. Walk with resilience. Isn't that silly? But out of righteousness, Feng Sheiyuan's place dug a grave for two people, and buried the two of them together, set up a tombstone. Placed on the tombstone, a pair of infatuated lovers remained. These simple words. After all, Feng Shao didn't know either. What are the names of these two people? I can only write it this way. After burying the two people, Feng Shao continued forward. After passing three more pillars in succession, a sudden clarity appeared before my eyes. The fog that obscures the sky and blocks the sun finally disappeared without a trace, appeared before his eyes. It is a towering giant reaching a height of 100 zhang. The diameter at the base of this giant tower, at least several hundred meters. A total of 12 floors. Each layer is several zhang high. At the base of the colossal tower, surrounded by a wide pool that is several dozen zhang across. On the pond, there was only a narrow path about 6 or 7 meters wide. The gate to the Tower of Three Lives, Berchai Shui, emits a dazzling rainbow-like glow, but upon closer inspection, you will find the water in the pond is clear enough to see the bottom. This pool, this is the legendary Zixin Pond. Legend has it that the water of the Zixin pool, with guidance, one can forget the worries of 3 lifetimes. If the medicine is known, one can also refine the legendary forgetfulness pill. However, this rumor, I just don't know what's true or false anymore. After all, for thousands of years. It seems only Princess Ze. Take the water from the pond here, the formula for the forgetting emotion pill. Only Cayenne Kun Palace has it. Cayenne Yuan Zhu and Zai Xin Chai, we have already met. What about the shoeming platform? Feng Shao looked around. No trace of the stone platform was found. Finally, he turned his gaze. Placed on the Sansheng Tower. Are you saying that? The command tower is located within the Three-Life Pagoda. To be honest, Feng Shao actually didn't want to. Entering the Tower of Three Lives, even the most dangerous maze, already passed. But who knows? What is in the Three Lives Tower? Perhaps it's fate. But it could also be more dangerous than a maze. Any unknown things. It's hard not to feel uneasy. And the wind whistled in the same way. After hesitating for a while, Feng Shao finally made up his mind. Stepping towards the Sansheng Tower. This road, we've already covered more than half. If you stop because of fear, that previous preparation, it would all be in vain. Through the path, Feng Shao arrived at the Sansheng Tower. He took a deep breath, then pushed the door and entered. Inside, it is an incredibly vast space. Feng Shao, staring blankly at the surroundings. For a moment I was at a loss. This is the interior of the Sansheng Tower. In front of him, it is a place of beautiful mountains and clear waters. A paradise filled with the sounds of birds and the fragrance of flowers. Gazing far into the distance, the towering mountains are faintly visible, and above the sky, the clouds are fluffy and white. Everything in front of me, all are telling the wind whistle. This is not the interior of a building, but another space. This completely caught Feng Shao off guard. He originally thought the inside of the Three-Life Tower, no matter how big, it's just a really big one. It's just a circular room. The command platform shouldn't be hard to find. But the scene before me, but I can't whistle anymore." He scratched his head. "Begin to ponder. Where should we go next?" At that moment the wind whistle is faintly heard. Saw a transparent figure. Appeared before me. He couldn't help but widen his eyes. In the next moment I realized this is not an illusion, because of this figure is becoming increasingly solid. As time passes, he had even seen it clearly. The other person's handsome face. In light clothing, Feng Shao couldn't help but reach out his hand, grasp the hilt of the golden crow's sword, eyes slightly squinting, always be ready for battle. Before long, that figure became like a real person. It looked like a middle-aged man in his 30s or 40s, a long-haired person, by a headband, tied together simply. It seems quite carefree. The man looked at the wind whistle, a smile at the corner of the mouth. He said calmly, "You finally came." Chapter 46 Z. Looking at the middle-aged man in front of me, Feng Shao couldn't help but feel puzzled. "Do you know me?" "Of course." The middle-aged man smiled. "After all, you are me." Feng Shao couldn't help but open his mouth. Why? This sentence. He has completely lost his way. The middle-aged man smiled and explained. "Everyone who enters here, visible, it will only be one's own past life." Feng Shao suddenly understood, but there are still some doubts. I must have had more than one past life. Indeed, but here, it's still my decision. The middle-aged man smiled. Although it's just a simple sentence, yet it displays overwhelming dominance. Don't wait for the wind to whistle. Keep asking questions. The middle-aged man continued speaking. "I guess you must be very confused. Why do I seem to be? I knew you would come here." The wind whistle instinctively sounded. "Just nod, but don't tell me. You knew this would happen all along. Although this world, there is indeed a way of deduction. But the wind whistle has never been heard, able to predict the future of the generations to come, hundreds of years later." The middle-aged man smiled and said, "You wouldn't think that, would you? The encounter with Tian Hua was a coincidence. Only then would it seek you out." The wind whistle suddenly stopped on the spot. He really thought so. Feng Shao's past life. I have also read quite a few novels of the same type, but as a time traveler, after crossing over. But no system by my side, so the wind whistle only meets the flower on that day. There is simply no systematic compensation. After all, the traveler has a golden finger. It has almost become a consensus. But it seems like the middle-aged person's intention. It doesn't seem to be that simple. But soon after, Feng Shao suddenly recalled another matter. Tian Hua meets Mingli. The supreme stone of Kain Kun, the essence of life lies in the balance of heaven and earth. After the fall of Kain Kun Palace, the Kain Kun stone treasure was also lost. Even their names are unknown. Today, Tian Hua encounters herself. Could it be that this is my previous life, related to Kain Kun Gong? The middle-aged man seemed to have realized. The thoughts in the wind whistle. A faint smile. "That's right. I am not only your past life. Ze, one of the three great princesses of Kain Kun Gong." Feng Shao was left speechless. But then he couldn't help but say, "But I have traveled through time. You know about time travel. What does crossing over mean?" The middle-aged man nodded. "I certainly know. After all, it was me who set you through time." The wind whistle fell silent again. The middle-aged man added, "Speak more accurately. I am sending you to another world." "Then you've crossed over by yourself again." Feng Shao couldn't figure it out this time. "I crossed over by myself. I can still do this." The middle-aged man chuckled. Haven't you already crossed over? Do you have this ability? Aren't you clear about it yourself? Feng Xiao said impatiently, what I mean is, why did I cross over by myself? I am in another world. It's just one. Ordinary person. Ordinary people. How could one travel through time? The middle-aged man shook his head. Speaking of this, I'm not quite sure. However, have you ever thought about it? You can travel across. It was destined to happen. Destined. Feng Xiao couldn't help but lower his head in thought. To be honest, Feng Xiao really dislikes this word. Because of this word will make him feel his own fate. It has already been decided. There is no possibility of change. As a modern person who has received 9 years of compulsory education, influenced by the seniors, Feng Xiao has always been more devoted. Humans can conquer fate. At this moment, the middle-aged man mentioned, destined to be. This left Feng Xiao feeling quite unsettled. The middle-aged person looked solemn, said goodbye seriously, thought I was sensationalizing. The truth is like this. If not, if it weren't for that year, Duke Khan wouldn't have faced divine punishment. Feng Xiao couldn't help but ask about the heavenly punishment. What is going on this time? The middle-aged man sighed. A hint of a smile appeared on her face. It is with a sense of melancholy that I speak of this matter. First, we must mention the Tianhui and the Diyu Shenzhen. These two treasures are hidden. Next, Feng Xiao spoke from his past life, learned some hidden secrets. Tianhui and Diyu Shenzhen. No one knows. How did it come about? Even in the previous life of Feng Xiao, princess of the West River from the Cayenne Kun Palace, after obtaining these two treasures. I can't figure it out, the origins of these two secret treasures. However, according to their speculation, Tianhui and Diyu Shenzhen, it is highly likely to be at the beginning of heaven and earth. It already exists. Tianhui can be achieved by consuming luck, learning about all the treasures and beauties of the world. Location Geographical Divine Chapter. One can explore the hidden realms of the world. Unity of the two. It is almost as if one can know all the secrets in the world. One could even say, the whole world no longer exists. Secrets can be spoken. That year, the Cayenne Kun Palace. It is relying on these two secret treasures. To be able to do it in a short time. Rapid rise. Become the top cultivation sect in this world. The wind whistle astonishes. These two secret treasures. So against the heavens. Wouldn't that be against the way of heaven? The middle-aged man nodded. That's right. In fact, long before obtaining the two treasures. I have already noticed this. Therefore, Tianhui and Diyu Shenzhen. It has always been taken care of by me and Wang Shu separately. By the way, Wang Shu is the second princess of the Cayenne Kun Palace. Well then, who is the third one? The third princess is named Xuanji. She is from the Cayenne Kun Palace. After suffering divine punishment, the only survivor. However, she chose the method of faking her death to be reborn. Split one's soul into two, half preserved with secret methods. The other half undergoes reincarnation. After rebirth, she was once again acting according to her own prior arrangements. Merge with the other half's soul. Escape from divine punishment. Speaking of which, the middle-aged man smiled faintly. Perhaps no one in the world knows any more. Tian Gang sect. She is the one who was reborn. Created by hand. Feng Xiao was incredibly surprised. Tiandang sword sect. It is a super sect located in Bishu. The disciples under the door do not understand the intricacies. Masters gather like clouds within the door. The impact is also very extensive. The most famous sword sect. It is the 36 sword techniques of Tiangang, the 36 sword techniques of the Carefree Hall. Each virtue surpasses its strengths. Just the Sioya Hall, although the sword technique is famous, their strength is far inferior to that of the Tiangang sword sect. Even Yan Jiang Ji, compared to the Tiangang sword sect, it is somewhat lacking as well. But who would have thought? The founder of the Tiangang sword sect. It turns out to be the mysterious princess of reincarnation. Oh, right. By the way, the three treasures of the Tiangang sword sect. Tian Luo's star compass, Shuanji's seal, Heavenly Gang's divine weapon. These are the three swords among the 10 treasures of the universe. Feng Shao looked at him with a face full of skepticism. You don't want me to go and take someone else's, do you? Take the treasures of the 3 great sects. That is the town's treasured artifact. Although in fantasy novels, there are often protagonists, not even a blink, sweet and shamelessly, stealing someone else's town's treasure. But Feng Shao really doesn't have such a thick skin. The middle-aged man indeed shot him a glare. I just said that. Who sent you to fetch it? Feng Shao? It's all good, it's all good. A middle-aged person started from scratch. Let's not talk about anything else. Well, let's start by talking about yourself. Now, you already have the Heavenly Flower sword in hand. So, what you are going to do next? We need to retrieve the geographical divine seal. These 2 treasures. There is a natural connection. Therefore, through the Heavenly Flower sword, you will find the geographical divine chapter eventually. But the premise is, you must elevate your realm to the true immortal level. Otherwise, the moment you receive the geopolitical divine seal, heaven's punishment will strike you, scattering your soul. Feng Shao's teacher-student road? So dangerous. You still want me to go find it. Can't avoid looking for it. Not acceptable. The middle-aged man said with a serious expression. Because this is your mission. Don't talk to me about any mission. I don't believe in that. Feng Shui angrily waved her hand. I have no ambition to conquer the world. I don't want to be a powerful figure who oppresses the common people. I just want to do it my way. Create the life you desire. Middle-aged man's elegy. Shook his head with a smile. Suddenly I said, I guess you've been recently. Have you already met the so-called child of destiny? Feng Shao looked surprised. How did you know? Because when you wield the Heavenly Flower sword, your aura, it has already changed. The middle-aged man said seriously, I am the child of destiny. The monk was fixed, even if it goes against the heavens. But after all, there are 50 paths to the Great Way. Tian Yan Si Jiu, Rendun Pai Yi, under the heavens, still left with a glimmer of hope. Kaishan Flower sword and geographical divine staff. It is truly an extraordinary object against the heavens. It is incompatible with the way of heaven. Although you are using the Tianhui sword during the process, will not suffer from heavenly punishment. But the aura will change as a result. After all, the one who controls the extraordinary. They are born to defy the heavens. Heaven's way will not tolerate you. Feng Shao couldn't help but say, Aren't you just tricking me? How can you say it's a pitfall? The middle-aged man is still laughing, just a smile on the face, but felt somewhat bittersweet. This day, the flower sword is not in your hands. It may also appear in someone else's hands. Back then, I once wielded the Heavenly Flower sword, conducted a thorough simulation. In the end, I realized Kai Lai Lai guides the shadow towards the former heavenly path. Feng Shui frowned. The way of heaven is eternal and indestructible. Why is it still carrying the illusion realm? The middle-aged man took a deep breath. The tone was grim. Because beyond this world, there is still great terror. Speaking of this face, a hint of worry appeared on his face. Why has this generation of the heavenly Tao come? I don't know either. Just vaguely aware. This way of heaven, it seems to be, planning a major event, if my calculations are correct. He planned it. Not long after, the impending battlefield of myriad clans. Feng Shao has endless blessings and misfortunes. This also involves his knowledge is blind. So he cleverly started a conversation. May I ask what is the battlefield of 10,000 races? Battlefield of 10,000 races. It is countless worlds. The calamity we face together, how often does it appear? I'm not sure either. I only know the battlefield of all races will surely reappear. By that time, if this world, without any resistance, eventually it will be destroyed by other races. But why is this? 10,000 races battlefield. What is the meaning of opening? Who knows? The middle-aged man shrugged. Previous heavenly path. How to cope with the battlefield of 10,000 clans? I'm not quite sure. However, this current heavenly Tao, it seems they plan to use ways to cultivate a child with spirit and charm to face this calamity. Feng Shao immediately understood. Very good. This kind of plot. It's like a novel I read in my past life. It fits perfectly. But then, he then thought of the issue of one's own aura, could not help but show a look of astonishment. Indeed, the middle-aged man said, "For the child of Kaiyan, what else is there? The master of the heavenly flower sword, a better sharpening stone." Chapter 47. 6 Paths of Reincarnation Body. Feng Shao didn't expect. I just came here. Reshape qualifications. I can't believe I found out such deadly information. What's even worse is, inform him of these. It's no one else. It was his past life. So, words from a past life. It must be true. After all, who would have nothing to do? Deceiving oneself for fun. Giant Feng Shao looked a bit gloomy. The middle-aged man laughed. You don't need to worry too much about this. After all, the child of Kaiyan can be troublesome, but it's not enough to threaten you. After all, you have the one with the treasure that defies heaven. Feng Shao gave him a glance, quietly speaking of you. Easier said than done. I can tell. This world, child of Kaiyan, there should be more than one person right. Do I have to do them one by one? Deal with it. Just thinking about the possibility of this. Feng Shao felt a bit overwhelmed. He is not afraid. Child of spirit and rhythm. I just feel that those who deepen this kind of aura, one by one they all are. Trouble-prone guy. The most critical thing is these troublesome serious consequences. Let others bear it all. Left for them. It's all about fate. Where can I say this? Feng Shao was essentially, he is a dreamer, having their own aspirations. His ambition can be excluded from showing off and slapping faces. After all, we are all adults now, who can play such a childish trick. Some people might find it very enjoyable, but Feng Shao felt very ashamed. So, Feng Shao feels a bit disheartened. The middle-aged man comforted him. Although for the child of Kaiyan, you are the best whetstone. But for you, child of Kaiyan, isn't it the same? The best target for harvesting. You need to know. Do you still have one in your hand? the celestial flower jade sword that consumes Kai in rhythm. Feng Shui gave him a glance. But do you know, is being the child of Kai Yun really that troublesome? These guys, blessed by the way of heaven, causing trouble everywhere. They took everything. The consequences were all borne by others. Let's not say anything else. Just showing off can attract the admiration of others. Such a countermeasure. Who can endure this? The middle-aged man smiled faintly. When it comes to the son of Kai Yun, how troublesome can it be? The son of the essence harvested at the former Kun Palace. Even if it's not 100, it's still 80. Feng Xiao was left speechless. The middle-aged man continued. After I took control of the celestial blossom jades soared back in the day, children of various energies. It's as if it's free. A beautiful bird is running towards me. Chased away a group. Another batch has arrived. Simply put, it has turned the Kayan Kun Palace. Used it as a leveling point. Like Kayan Kun Palace has profound heritage. The actions of those with ethereal charm. That's too childish. Just afraid that we won't wait for the heavenly punishment to arrive. The Kainkan palace was thus affected by these. The son of Kaiyan has been lost. Feng Xiao sighed with emotion. You speak quite fashionably. Surprisingly, they even know about the leveling points. The middle-aged man glared at him, saying nothing. I'm you. What you have experienced. I know that too. I'm just using it too. The language you are familiar with. Just communicating with you. Feng Xiao waved his hand, signaling it was okay. Let's not talk about this anymore. You still want to talk about it. What do you want me to do? After talking for so long. Feng Xiao, until now, I suddenly understood. This so-called past life. Appearing here, it should be purposeful. Princess Tang Tang of the Western River. How could this be? Stopped chatting nonsense with him. Indeed, the middle-aged man heard this. Then he started to laugh. It seems I can't hide it from you after all. He then said sternly, I hope you can break it. The binding of the heavenly path. Let this world get back on track. Feng Xiao had a look of astonishment on his face. What does this mean? I only heard the middle-aged man say, this world, in fact, it has stagnated for thousands of years. Just think about it. In your world, thousands of years. What can be developed? Feng Xiao shook his head. Every world, each has its own way of existing. This world, there's no need to insist on doing it that way. Let the trajectory of my previous world run. It seems so. In fact, it's not like that. I have already pushed it down. In fact, overturning the status quo. Creating a whole new world. It is feasible. And I also learned from your experience. I can see what you're thinking. At this point, on the face of a middle-aged person, revealed a sly smile before leaving the Teiwei sect. You actually wanted to do this, didn't you? You can't stand the strong ones here. Regard mortals as ants. I can't stand those either. The whole family was exterminated. The power of Quanzong. So, you want to create a world where everyone is equal. And you already have it. Personal plan. What I said is correct. Feng Xiao's lips twitched slightly. You guy, it really lacks martial ethics. Same to you. After all, I'm you. The middle-aged man burst into laughter. He exerted himself, patted Feng Xiao's shoulder. Speaking of, actually, I have also experienced it. I think the same way as you. Unfortunately, limited by vision, failed to find the right path. But you are different. You have another world, development trajectory, as a reference. Therefore, You can also become. Your idea is completely feasible. Can this world be changed? It all depends on your efforts from here on out. Feng Xiao sighed. Suddenly, I have a feeling that is difficult to express. The feeling of being deceived. Don't say that. Since there are dreams, then we have to go do it. Regardless of success or failure, it's been hard work, even if this life is not in vain. The middle-aged man encouraged. As for those children of breath, you can completely do it. Use it as a stepping stone. Reap their aura, using their opportunities. Come to achieve your dreams. Their destiny only grows stronger, and after you obtain it, but it can benefit the whole world. Since that's the case, why do you have to cower so much? Feng Xiao took a deep breath. It settled then. You said, I generally understand now. Additionally, what you said, break the shackles of the heavenly path. There should also be a battlefield for all races. Make a plan for consideration. This is nature. The middle-aged man nodded. The original plan of the heavenly Tao. It is to cultivate multiple children of aura. Then it's like nurturing bones. Let these children of spirit and charm, killing each other. Finally selected, the true son of destiny, and in the end, son of destiny. It will represent this world. Participate in the battle of 10,000 races. Speaking of which, middle-aged person suddenly shifted to, however, you don't need to worry too much. The opening of the 10,000 races battlefield, it will take hundreds more years. You can fully make use of this time. Quickly cultivate one's own power. Just a reminder, harvest the child of spirit as much as possible. Delay the birth of the chosen one. Because the son of destiny did not appear, the battlefield of 10,000 clans will not open. Feng Xiao Liao Ran nodded slightly. So it is said. 10,000 races battlefield. It's the final trial of the chosen one. After the trial ended, then we can go home. The great sorrow has fallen asleep. Although your thinking is a bit strange, but the specific meaning, I see you. It should be tomorrow. Understood. Feng Xiao asked, so you have nothing else to say next, right? I think you should know too. What am I here to do? Of course, you are here to reshape your qualifications. After all, back in the day, this is where qualifications are reshaped. Feng Xiao was instantly overjoyed. That's great. The contents of the Kan manual. I can only grasp a rough idea. Specific implementation. Still haven't figured it out completely. Since you are here, can you tell me? The specific steps are as follows. There is more. Where is the command platform? The middle-aged man looked strangely at them. Looking at it, the actual steps. It's not as complicated as you think. Additionally, Shu Mingtai, actually it is. Actually, it's right beneath your feet. Because only in you, standing on the lookout platform, I will only appear before you. Feng Xiaoyi ran. The middle-aged man laughed. Next, all you need to do is take a nap. I can replace you. Complete the reshaping of qualifications. Feng Xiao Vision. This feeling is great. Yet in long service. Additionally, I can tell you, I have reshaped your qualifications for you. This will be the world of this side. The most powerful physique. This constitution is called 6 Paths of Reincarnation Body. You who possess this constitution will no longer be weaker than any heavenly exchange. Until now, there are many readers. On the direction of this book, there are still some things I don't understand. I am here. Let's have a simple discussion. First, this book is not a light read. Because of myself, I just can't write a satisfying story. I am on another platform. The novel written, once inspired by a sudden whim, I wrote a paragraph. The scene of showing off and getting slapped in the face. After finishing, take another look. Let the readers think whatever they want. Anyway, it's just me. I feel quite ashamed. So it was all deleted. I can't write a Shoeing Wayne, a light or feel-good story. The plot of showing off and getting slapped in the face. This is beyond my strengths. Therefore, for readers who want to enjoy a feel-good story, this book, I might have to disappoint you. Some say, Feng Xiao is a saint. Actually, that is because many people didn't understand it at all. Feng Xiao's personality. Feng Xiao is a person with a strong sense of purpose. He only cares about the outcome, not caring about the past. As long as the result is good. Forgive some people. For him, it's just a simple gesture. But if it's certain, some people are beyond saving. He definitely won't. Show mercy. Then say something. The continuation of the story in this book. The continuation of the story in this book. It consists of three main parts. The growth of the protagonist. The harvest of the children of Kai Yan. The establishment of the protagonist's power. Therefore, the subsequent plot arrangements are underway. There will be a lot of farming scenes. The protagonist will become the ones who truly change the world, instead of one, the tool for showing off and slapping faces. I'll emphasize it again. Although this book will have multiple female characters, among them are not few, has a good impression of the protagonist, but there is only one female lead. And the name can also be, I can tell everyone with certainty, it's Lin Ziorin. So, don't ask me anymore. Who is the female lead? That's it. See you tomorrow. Remember to give a 5-star review. Chapter 48. Qingdi City, Eastern Zhu. Qingdi City, Qingdi City. It is one of the largest cities of the Eastern Zhu, located by the water, at the junction of He and Taijiang. Intense shipping activity. Trade is thriving. And the Qingdi City, relying on this unique geographical location, from a small village originally, gradually developed and grew into the leading city of the Eastern Zhu. Miao Feng, the lord of Qingdi City, he is a powerful cultivator renowned far and wide. According to legend, the boundary has reached utmost tranquility, distance to purity, just one step away. There are also under his command many powerful cultivators serve, relying on their own powerful cultivation, and the heritage of Qingdi City. Miao Feng finally settled down. The position of the city lord of Qingdi City. It also deterred all directions, not daring to offend easily any major company. There are strong warriors in charge. This is already the entire upper realm. Subtle consensus. This is not out of respect for the strong, but to survive. A compromise that must be made. In the eyes of powerful cultivators, a mortal is just an ant. Their life and death are insignificant. So there are often powerful cultivators. Easily destroy a city. And both the righteous and the demonic paths are like this. The righteous path is still good, destroying the entire city. We still need to come up with an excuse to avoid tarnishing their own reputation and the form of the demonic way. But it all relies on one's own martial skills. Many times, they might even just because city's name broke my own taboo, then strike to destroy the city. Facing a powerful cultivator, a mortal without cultivation abilities, we can only leave it to fate. After all, they didn't have the strength to resist. No one could stand up for them either. the only thing they could do. It is to seek a strong backing as much as possible, in pursuit of a momentary peace. It is precisely for this reason many cities are guarded by powerful cultivators. It has become the preferred dwelling for mortals. However, I want to move into a big city. It's not that easy either. Big city. This also means heavy taxation, especially places like Kingdi City, a city with a population of 1 million. Every household in the city, almost two-thirds of the annual income, as a tax burden. However, although the taxes are heavy, but life has basic guarantees, not to the extent of causing death through malice. No one should be killed at will. Moreover, master's cultivation, it requires a lot of resources and money, and the taxes they provided. It can also satisfy the needs of the monks for their cultivation. It can be considered a symbiotic relationship where both sides benefit. This is the unique social model of this world. In this world, there is no concept of nations, but rather based on the city as the fundamental structure, formed a series of fragmented city alliances. These city alliances, the relationship in between, it is bonded by interests, typically rely on yin-king and resource sharing as a connection between cities, but there are no eternal friends, only eternal interests. Therefore, these city alliances, in fact, they are quite fragile, sometimes even for some minor conflicts of interest. Let's part ways. The place of this world. A nation has not been established. It's not that no one has thought about it. This is how it should be done, but rather the characteristics of this world. The birth of a nation is destined to be incredibly difficult, due to the existence of cultivation, the gap in personal strength being infinitely stretched and hit. This also led to establish a basic army composed of mortals. It is not feasible. After all, an ascension stage cultivator casually struck out a palm and can annihilate an army of 1 million. Regarding the establishment of an army composed of monks, this matter is somewhat unrealistic, due to the monk's cultivation, need to absorb spiritual energy. The aura is mostly embodied in the towering mountains. If we use spiritual stones to support the army, the consumption is too excessive. This has also led to the military protection of each city. Usually, it can only be a small group of cultivators. It is difficult to establish a true army. The monks of the small team, the scope of its military protection, limited to the surrounding area, difficult to radiate on a large scale, even with the foundation of the city alliance. Forming a monk army, I can only manage to protect myself, insufficient ambition, let alone ensuring the security of a nation. The army cannot be established. A nation cannot easily take shape, and without the existence of a country. This also led to it is difficult for ordinary people to have basic survival guarantees. So, mortals of this world really become like an ant, can only survive in the cracks between various forces. Able to find a big city, it's good to have someone to rely on. A mortal without even a backing. Every day is uncertain. How many will be saved by the monk? Slaughtered like cattle and sheep. Maybe at this time, then someone might ask, is there really nothing? A particularly lucky mortal, through cultivation, gain powerful influence. Are you trying to fool your own people in reverse? The reality is that such people exist, but very few. Many ordinary people start from humble beginnings. When I first embarked on the path of cultivation, once made a grand vow, want to rely on my own strength, hooligan community. Among them, indeed, there are quite a few people, gained an extraordinary opportunity, ultimately achieving great accomplishments. However, after reaching the peak of Dingling, most of these people, they have forgotten their original intention. Instead, like other cultivators, regard mortals as ants, because during their growth process, countless realities tell them, in this world, it is the strong who are respected. As long as you are strong enough, you can act recklessly. As long as you are strong enough, you can defy the will of all beings. As long as you're strong enough, you can do it to anyone, predicting and demanding. As long as you are strong enough, you can just ignore it. Everything in this world is just. So their goal, only getting stronger is left. Become stronger. To become stronger, they even dared to trample the dignity and life and death of all mortals. And the mortals, facing the powerful cultivator, the only thing I can do, it's just about surviving, because they are unworthy in front of the monks. Having dignity, such a situation. It has been ongoing. I don't know how many thousands or tens of thousands of years. Perhaps I need to continue. If this continues like this, it will never change. Let's turn our attention, returning to the King Emperor's city, within a radius of 1,000 miles, the biggest city. The daily population entering the King Emperor's city, tens of thousands. Among them are not few practitioners. And today, then there was a team, a total of 15 members in the cultivator team, entering this city. These 15 people, it is to break away from Tewei Mountain. Urjai disciples. It's just Lu Qingyuan now. Regarding Lu Qingyuan's joining, the two disciples were astonished. It is also very welcome. After all, in the entire Tewei sect, among this generation of disciples, the one with the highest cultivation is Feng Xiao. Next, it is Yi Chen and Lu Qingyuan. As Lu Qingyuan breaks through, after Feng Xiao's departure, Lu Qingyuan then appeared dignified, as become the leader of this generation of disciples. To have someone like that join them, can they not be happy? Lu Qingyuan quickly learned that Urjai disciples, after leaving the sect, with the same intention of looking for Feng Xiao. However, throughout the Eastern Zhu, on the vast territory, I want to find someone. Easier said than done. So they, after some discussion, decide to go to Qingdi City first, gathering information. After all, as one of the largest cities of the Eastern Zhu, the source of the news is also very vast, because they are all cultivators. So, has always liked those who enter the city. The extortionate city gate guard consciously ignored them. After entering the city, everyone first found an inn, temporarily settled down. Then they began to discuss where to inquire for news. Their first option, it is the Linglong Pavilion of the King Emperor's city. Qingdi City, as the great city of the Eastern Zhu, attracted several large business associations. Linglong Pavilion is the same, and Linglong Pavilion here. The scale is much larger than Liang City. Even the shopkeeper, they are all in the realm of transformation. The shopkeeper of Liang City raised an entire level of realm. The master of such a realm, the status at Yunjian Pavilion. Nature will not lower itself, but Lu Qingyuan and the others. After the inquiry, however, it was very disappointing, because even Yunjian, there is no news from the wind whistle. However, the owner of Linglong Pavilion, upon learning they are from Tewei Mountain, after the person comes down, Bayan warmly welcomed them and offered them some suggestions. For example, through Linglong Pavilion, publish a missing person notice, or go to other chambers of commerce to gather information. Any large trading association, there are several distributions. So, the intelligence is also theirs, one of the goods for sale. As for publishing a missing person notice, it is also a large business association, one of the channels to get rich. But after posting the missing person notice, everyone couldn't help but be speechless. This price. They can afford it. It was right after the payment. I basically have no money left on me. And publish a missing person notice. It also doesn't guarantee that people can be found. In desperation, they had no choice but to settle for second best, decide to go to other chambers of commerce first, take a chance. Next, everyone then dispersed at the entrance of Ling Long Pavilion. They headed to the large merchant association in the city, Lu Qingyuan, due to being the strongest. So, he acts alone. Lu Qingyuan headed straight to Tianbao Pavilion in the south of the city. As soon as I entered the door, let's get straight to the point. Conduct intelligence consultation. It's just a pity. Teiwei Zong, although around Teiwei Mountain, within a radius of hundreds of miles, well known, but outside of this range, has basically lost its influence. As for Teiwei Zong's holy son, Feng Shao, many people have only heard of it by name, did not see the person. So, the whereabouts of Feng Shao, they also haven't paid attention. Naturally, there is no related information. Lu Qingyuan was not satisfied with this result. Naturally, I was very disappointed. But he does not plan to give up, decide to take action if it doesn't work out. Just go directly to the headquarters of Yunjinj. I believe Yunjinj is aware of Feng Shao's whereabouts. There will always be some attention. As he pondered, discovered in the Tianbao Pavilion, there was a young man dressed in luxurious clothing, focusing their gaze on him. A playful smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. As Lu Qingyuan was preparing to leave, the young man suddenly stepped forward. He smiled and said to Lu Qingyuan, "This young lady, you say, you need to find Feng Shao, the holy son of Teiwei Zong." Lu Qingyuan stood upright. "Do you perhaps know the whereabouts of my senior brother Feng?" The young man didn't know where he came from. Take out a folding fan, a wave of the hand, open it, pretending to be suave while fanning himself. He said with a cheerful laugh, "I am not talented. Once with the wind young master, we have had some acquaintance, and quite coincidentally, Feng Shao Zianjin, visiting someone else's home. I wonder who the young lady is." Lu Qingyuan didn't expect. "I can't believe I heard news about Feng Shao here." Could not help but feel overjoyed. Hastily said, "I am the junior sister of Feng Xiaoshi, also from Teiwei Mountain. If the young master, can you take the young lady to meet Wen Xiao Shikshin?" "The young lady is extremely grateful." The youth laughed. "Good to say, good to say." A simple task. Lu Qingyuan, filled with joy, did not notice. In the eyes of the youth, faintly revealed a hint, the smile of a successful conspiracy. Indeed, this anxious little girl. It's best to just play along. Chapter 49. Xiao Yunqing, walking on the way back to the residence. The young man has been trying, flirting with Lu Qingyuan. It's just Lu Qingyuan. Not interested in him at all. I just want to see Feng Shao as soon as possible. Therefore, flirting with the youth along the way, they don't really respond. The young man felt a bit dissatisfied. But Lu Qingyuan's beautiful face, yet it made it hard for him to get angry. After some probing, the young man discovers Lu Qingyuan's thoughts. It seems to be only with his senior brother. The young man's eyes suddenly shifted. "Remember it well," he said with a beaming smile, speaking of which, Feng Shao brothers, truly a dragon among men and a phoenix among women. I was fortunate to witness Feng Shao's prowess back in the day. He shot an arrow, Impressive momentum. Several magic cultivators didn't react in time. The head. It fell down like a gurgling sound. At that time I was watching it. I truly admire it. At this moment I invite Brother Fengshao. Come to my residence as a guest. The Wind brothers have no airs about them. Zinren Yingyan. And that's why I am too, meeting with Feng Shao's brothers, and thought they were confidants. Young people speak nonsense. I made up a story on the spot. It's just that he makes up stories. It's not entirely aimless. When she saw the long sword hanging at Lu Qingyuan's waist, kiss, the other party's sect specializes in swordsmanship. Thus, a story like this was crafted. Lu Qingyuan's sense of taste is beneficial. Instead, he smiled and said, indeed, Wen Shixin's swordsmanship is outstanding, far beyond what we, the junior disciples, can achieve. If I could master even 1/10 of Master Feng's swordsmanship. Satisfied and content, the young man's eyes lit up. Proud in my heart, I continued to write. Wind brothers. Indeed, the swordsmanship is remarkable. I also admire you greatly. Fen Shixin once discussed swordsmanship with me all night. Speak frankly. The exquisite swordsmanship of this world. First recommend the 36 sword techniques of Tiangang. Next is the carefree 36 sword techniques. The young man's words were rigid and formal, because any cultivator, everyone knows about the Tiandang sword sect and the Zioyao Hall, the two great sword cultivation temples. Little did they know that Fen Shao was a sword cultivator. Should also be about the sword techniques of these two places. Highly respected. Lu Qingyuan nodded, confirming it was true. The sword techniques of Tiangang sword sect and Zioyao Hall. All are exquisite sword techniques of the world. The young man laughed again and said, Brother Feng Shao once told me, if there is a chance, you must go to Zioyao Hall, Zhang Zioyao Ferry. Please teach me the 36 sword techniques of freedom. However, I feel that the 36 sword techniques of freedom, though powerful, yet it may not be comparable. The swordsmanship demonstrated by the Feng Shao brothers. Zioyao Ferry, though already famous for a long time. But in terms of swordsmanship, it may not even compare to Brother Feng Shao. The young man believed that this statement was exceptionally well said. After all, he is using the immortal fairy of leisure to highlight Feng Shao. This is in the invisible realm. Elevated the image of Feng Shao. It can somewhat attract the other person's affection. But when the youth spoke up to this point, but found, Lu Qingyuan unexpectedly stopped in his tracks, looking at herself with a face full of doubt. The young man's heart suddenly skipped a beat. Perceived. It might be oneself. Where did I say something wrong? But he showed no reaction on his face. Zio Yinyan asked the young lady, Do you think what I am saying is right? Lu Qingyuan narrowed his eyes slightly. A look of vigilance flashed in his eyes. He placed his hand on the sword hilt. He said in a calm tone, The swordsmanship of Master Feng. There is a part that is taught by the Tai Wai school. There is still a part left. Is learned from the Zioyao Hall. How could he possibly say that? Zioyao Hall seeks guidance on swordsmanship. Lu Qingyuan simply does not recognize the malice in people's hearts. Not foolish. Upon realizing the other party is lying, in my heart I already understand the other party's intention. King Nian Yishen just sighed. She said slowly, I didn't expect to find it here. Reveal the flaw. Then a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, a smile full of malice. Speaking of the girl, I am Kingdi, the master of melodies. Sizik Chuen. The girl looked like a celestial fairy. I wish to ask the young lady to marry me. I wonder if the young lady could agree. Lu Qingyuan's gaze turned cold. He said coldly, "You are indeed lying to me. Sai, you can't blame me for this. Who calls the girl? You are too beautiful." Xuen, laughing and saying, "However, although the story I created is fictional, I can express my admiration for the young lady. But it's true. Miss, are you really not considering it?" Lu Qingyuan drew his long sword. "Stop talking nonsense. If you dare to speak insolently again, I cut out your tongue." Xuen sighed. "If you refuse to toast, you'll face a penalty drink. It seems that I have no choice but to use some methods. Speaking of which," his tone suddenly turned cold, "catch live ones." Before Lu Qingyuan could react, then I heard a man's voice. He said calmly, "Young master." Then Lu Qingyuan frowned. "The wind rises behind me." He was startled, without a second thought, quickly evaded using agile movements. Upon taking a closer look, but then he saw someone attacking him. Suddenly there appeared a transformation mirror cultivator. "Eh, little girl." The reaction was quite fast. The other party snorted coldly. "Come closer again," reaching out to grab Lu Qingyuan's shoulder. Lu Qingyuan quickly unleashed his sword technique. They clashed together. The other party considers themselves very strong, fighting empty-handed. He only saw his two hands, the almost flickering after-image. The speed was so fast it was almost impossible to catch with the naked eye. Lu Qingyuan also gave it his all. This barely held up. But anyone can. I can see it. Lu Qingyuan can't hold on for much longer. Xuen stood to the side, looking to the left and right. Lu Qingyuan, who has already shown signs of defeat. A proud smile appeared on his face. He waved a fan. "Zai Dao, young lady, I advise you not to resist any longer. Behave and follow me back to the residence. You can rest assured, though I can't give you the position of the main wife. But you made me your concubine. It's still not a problem. At Xuen, when I felt the sacred advice was within my grasp." A cold voice. Suddenly a loud noise came. Shameless. Xuen subconsciously, looking in the direction of the sound. In the next moment my eyes couldn't help but brighten. Only one person spoke. A girl who looks to be only 18. She was dressed in white, veil of white fabric. However, under the white veil, faintly revealed outlines. Yet she was exceptionally beautiful, heart stirring to behold. The girl has a graceful figure, an air of cool elegance. Just standing there gives people a sense of being extraordinary and otherworldly. Xuen quickly cupped his hands towards the girl. He laughed and asked who the young lady was. Before she could finish her words, then the young girl said softly, "Kay, could you please lend a hand?" Until this moment, Xuen finally realized. It turns out it's on the girl. A tall woman is still standing, though the woman's beauty was not like that of a young girl, but equally beautiful. It's just that cold, ethereal demeanor. Yet it is identical to the girl. She just responded with a sound of agreement. Bai and Fei leaped forward. The monk of the divine mirror captured it with a single palm. The master quickly raised his hand to defend. The next moment, palms meet. The master felt a tremendous force. It came from the other person's palm, directly penetrating the organs. He quickly stepped back to alleviate the opponent's grip strength, but still felt a tightness and pain in the chest. Then he couldn't help but speak up. With a loud gasp, spit out a mouthful of fresh blood. A sound. Xuen saw this, both shocked and angry. "You dare to lay a hand on my guard? Do you know who I am?" The woman said coldly. King Emperor became a musician. This is getting more and more unreasonable. Unexpectedly, in front of such a large crowd, forcing a woman into marriage. Xuen was taken aback. You know who I am? The woman's cold laugh was remembered. The one who strikes at you is the Nainian Holy Emperor. If you want revenge, don't mistake the person. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was astonished. During the Eastern Jew, there were three great holy emperors. Among them, the Nainian Saint Emperor is the most renowned, for no other reason. Only the holy emperor accepts women, and every female disciple, all are extraordinary beauties. In the eyes of all the cultivators, Jay and Shangdi, it is the best place to choose the right path. Of course, not every monk, all are qualified to marry a disciple of the Nainian Saint Emperor. As for the family where Xuen is located, in the King Emperor's city, considered a first-class family, though it can't compare to the Mayo family's city lord. But it is also a prominent family that the King Emperor's city cannot ignore. But facing the disciple of the Nainian Saint Emperor, he also didn't have the guts to shout, even dared not to speak harshly. He nervously cupped his hands in front of the two. Speaking of myself, I didn't know that both of you are disciples of the Nainian Saint Emperor. There are many heartbreaks. Please forgive us, both of you. The woman instinctively glanced at the girl. The girl said softly, such a person. Let's just scrap it. The woman nodded. Wave a hand and strike. Bayan Peiksang, the young woman of Xuen. Only a mournful cry was heard. Xuen was struck by this palm, knocked away dozens of meters, then fell heavily to the ground. Injured body. Xuen didn't take it to heart much, but he was horrified to discover one's own danshin. It has unexpectedly been shattered. Danshin shattered means completely unrelated to cultivation. He will completely become a useless person. Lying Sang Kikwajia, internal fierce struggle. At this moment, Xuen, I feel utterly despondent, heart heavy as death. The girl no longer paid attention to Xuen, but instead bowed to Lu Qingyuan. I will see my sister Su. The swordsmanship displayed. It seems to originate from the Teiwei sect. Could it be that sister is a disciple of Teiwei sect? Lu Qingyuan left with his two disciples, but he did not leave the sect. Therefore, still just a disciple of the micro sect. Sorry, I can't assist with that. He also bowed to the girl, said, the young lady need not be so polite. The young woman is indeed a disciple of Teiwei sect. The girl's eyes lit up, couldn't help but ask, may I ask who the esteemed young master Feng Xiaofeng is? Can be placed here. Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but feel displeased. He carefully examined the young girl. But then the young girl mentioned Feng Xiao. A hint of shyness appeared on her face. A demeanor as cold as frost disappeared in an instant. Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but speculate in his heart. Could it be that this girl? It turns out to be a time from senior brother Feng's past. He even has a close relationship with brother Feng. Thinking of this, Lu Qingyuan felt quite uncomfortable inside. But the other party did help me after all. Lu Qingyuan could only force a smile at senior brother Feng. Not seen here. The girl let out a hum. A look of disappointment appeared on his face. Qingyi gently cleared her throat, whispered the saintess, out and about, please be cautious with your words and actions. The girl spoke earnestly, her expression serious. Feng Gongzi once said, I owe you my life. If it weren't for young Master Feng's timely rescue, I have long since died at the hands of bandits. How could there be such a day? Today I can save this sister. That is our destiny. Qingyi Just don't worry about so much." King Yi could only sigh. Silent and unspoken, Lu Qingyuan listened to these words. "Yet it's bitter in my heart. It turns out I could be saved. It's still about the abundance of the Western year, the seeds of karma sown. I didn't expect it to happen by chance. I owe senior brother Feng another favor. But then she remembered something else. I couldn't help but ask this young lady. Just now I heard King Yi say, 'You are the saintess of the Nine Yin sacred land.'" The young girl nodded with a smile. "That's not bad. Next, let's admire the blue clouds. It is the disciple of the Nine Yin sacred land. Iron Saintess. Chapter 50, Seven Systems. I didn't expect that. One of the top 10 sects in the southern region. Canyon sect master. Selling a daughter for wealth. Genman, have you ever asked the saint's own opinion? Have you ever respected her?" Qian returns to matters. "Jiang Yi Si Kayan, it's truly embarrassing. This canyon gate, better not to bring it. In a grand hall, a young boy is passionately speaking. Shouted angrily. A pair of newborn calves. They all looked fearless in front of the tiger. A figure in a blue robe. The elders scolded Yi Fan. 'You are merely an outer disciple. Where do you have a say? Daring to shout like this in the main hall. Could it be that you're still alive?' Yi Fan laughed heartily towards the sky. 'But a stranger who came up to speak. You actually let yourselves willingly offer up this saintess, completely disregarding the wishes of the saintess herself. Thus acting, how dare you blame me? I, Yi Fan, am not talented. Today I must rely on my humble self. Give the holy maiden justice.' Sitting in the great hall, in the central position, a middle-aged man spoke in a chilling tone. 'Yi Fan, I think you have good potential. I originally intended to take you as my true disciple, but I never expected you to be so ungrateful. Do you really think I won't come for you?' Yi Fan reached out. A black long knife appeared on the hand. He shouted, 'Sect leader, the saintess is indeed your biological daughter. This is how you are. Give her to a stranger. Do you still deserve to be a father?' Reckless, the leader couldn't help but feel furious. Seeing this scene, sitting in the position to the left of the leader, a young man, I couldn't help but cover my mouth, laughing softly. The call from Hajian, 'This young man, it is simply less abundant.' To be honest, Feng Xiao never thought that he would. Unexpectedly, we can meet again. Such a melodramatic scene. This scene